The jungle trembled beneath a roar so deep it felt like the earth itself was crying out. From the shadows, a mother tiger burst forth, wounded, bloodied, but unstoppable. Her golden eyes blazed with fury as she leapt toward the hunters. Nets flew, spears rose, men shouted, but none of it mattered. She wasn't just fighting. She was rage. She was love. She was war. But this wasn't the beginning. It was the end of something sacred. To understand how the wild reached this breaking point, we need to go back. Back to a quiet village on the edge of the Sundarbans, where the air smells of wet earth and the birds sing over the ever-present hum of danger. A place where life is hard, and yet somehow grace still survives. There, an elderly woman wakes with the rising sun. Her hands are cracked from years of labor. Her body aches, but she moves with calm determination. Alone in her field, she works the land. Her world is small, simple, and heavy with silence. Mala returned to her small hut on the edge of the village, just as the sky began to glow with the soft light of dawn. Inside, she moved slowly, preparing her simple morning meal, but a low, unexpected sound outside made her stop. A growl, not aggressive, not loud, just present, curious. Her heart jumped. She stepped outside, and what she saw made her breath catch. Standing just beyond the clearing was a full-grown tigress, calm and still, her golden eyes locked onto Mala. And at her feet, two small cubs, wobbly, unsure, barely able to stand, looked up at the world for the first time. Mala didn't run. Something in the tigress's gaze told her there was no danger here, only recognition. The mother gave the gentlest of nudges, and one of the cubs stepped forward. Hesitant, it sniffed Mala's hand, then licked her fingers. Mala dropped to her knees. Her eyes welled up, and a smile broke across her face. Soft, fragile, the kind that hadn't touched her lips in years. From that morning forward, the tigress came back. Every day she waited outside Mala's hut. The cubs played in the grass, their tiny growls echoing in the breeze. And every day, Mala stepped out to meet them, her spirit a little lighter. With the tigress by her side, she began to explore deeper into the forest than she ever had before. Hidden paths lined with herbs, streams filled with fish, and groves blooming with wild fruit. The jungle no longer felt like a place to fear. It felt like home. The jungle no longer feared Mala. It welcomed her. Day after day, the tigress guided her to secret corners of the forest, places Mala had never dreamed of. Her basket was never empty. Herbs, fruits, fish. The wild had become generous, but peace never lasts forever. One afternoon, strangers arrived in the village. Rough-looking men with cold eyes and heavy boots. Hunters. They carried nets, ropes, and weapons. And leading them, shame burning on his face, was Raju, Mala's son. He had returned, but not as the man he had promised to become. He hadn't found riches in the city, only failure. And now, desperate and angry, he had brought hunters into the jungle. "There's a tiger," he whispered to them, "a huge one, worth a fortune." Mala saw them from a distance. The moment she recognized Raju's face, her heart dropped. She knew something was wrong. That evening, she followed them quietly, hiding behind trees, listening. When she heard what Raju was planning, she felt her chest tighten. He didn't know about the cubs. He only saw money. He had no idea what he was about to destroy. And so she ran. Into the jungle, faster than her body had moved in years. She had to find the tigress. She had to warn her before it was too late. The jungle echoed with urgency as the woman pushed deeper into the forest, her legs burning, her breath uneven. Vines scratched her arms, branches whipped her face, but she didn't slow down. Somewhere ahead, the tigress and her cubs were unaware, in danger. Behind her, the hunters were already on the move, following her son's directions. They believed the jungle would surrender its treasures easily, but they didn't understand this place, not the way she did. Then she heard it, soft cries, not human, high-pitched, frightened. Her heart froze. She followed the sound through the thick undergrowth and reached a clearing. There, beside a den hidden in roots and ferns, were the two tiger cubs, caged, crying, alone. The men had come and gone. The mother tigress was nowhere in sight. Suddenly, the undergrowth shook. Leaves trembled, and out of the shadows emerged the tigress, eyes wide, body tense, sensing the trap. She moved slowly at first, then saw the cage, and everything changed. She roared. The jungle itself seemed to pull back in fear. The roar echoed through the jungle like thunder. The tigress lunged forward, muscle, fury, and fear in motion. She was done hiding. Her cubs were caged, and every instinct in her body screamed for action. But the hunters were ready. They had formed a wide circle, nets drawn tight, spears raised high. Shouts rang out as they closed in. The tigress struck back, slashing and growling, refusing to fall. She moved like a storm, but she was outnumbered. Then came the sound of footsteps, fast, heavy, urgent. The old woman burst into the clearing, breathless, drenched in sweat. She froze at the sight, her son at the edge, holding a weapon, and the tigress tangled in chaos. "Stop!" she cried, her voice cutting through the noise. The hunters hesitated. Raju turned toward her, stunned. "Ma, what are you doing here?" he snapped. The old woman took a step forward, her voice trembling, but firm. "She's not just an animal. She's a mother. She's my friend." Raju scoffed. "She's worth more than any roots or leaves you've ever gathered." The woman moved closer to the tigress, arms outstretched, shielding her with her body. "Please," she whispered, "don't do this." For a moment, the jungle fell silent. Then the tigress growled, deeper now, her golden eyes burning as they locked onto Raju. She remembered him, the one who brought the danger, the one who led the hunters. And Raju? He froze, the anger in his eyes drained, replaced by something else entirely, fear. The moment held its breath. Raju stepped back, fear tightening his grip on the gun. The tigress growled again, low and deep, every muscle tense. Then Mala moved, placing herself between them. "Please," she whispered, eyes locked on the animal. "He's my son." The tigress hesitated, her breathing slowed. Her eyes, once fire, now flickered with something else. Recognition. She looked at Mala and stepped back. But Raju didn't see it as mercy. He saw weakness. His panic turned to rage. He grabbed the rifle tighter and shouted, "She's just an animal!" and fired. The gunshot cracked through the trees. The tigress let out a final growl and collapsed, her body trembling as it hit the ground. Mala screamed and dropped beside her, her hands shaking as she cradled the animal's face. Around her, the hunters cheered. Raju stood frozen. The sound of the shot still echoed in his head. But greed doesn't end stories. It destroys them. As the hunters dragged the cage away, Raju demanded more. "I brought you here. I deserve half." The lead hunter laughed. "We don't split with traitors." Tension rose. Voices turned sharp. In the struggle, the cage tipped, and the door burst open. The cubs bolted into the jungle. Chaos exploded. Raju lunged after them, shouting, but he stepped too far, too fast. His foot slipped. The ground vanished beneath him, and with a final cry, he disappeared over the cliff's edge. Silence followed. The hunters, stunned, turned and fled. Only Mala remained. She crawled to the cubs, hiding in the bushes, still shaking. "It's all right," she whispered. "I'm here." In time, the cubs grew strong. Mala raised them not as pets, but as family. Years passed. The village learned to respect them, not as monsters, but as guardians. And when Mala's time came, she lay beneath the tree where it all began, one hand resting on soft striped fur. As the sun set, the cubs, now grown, stood watch beside her. When the light faded completely, they rose, silent and proud, and vanished into the jungle. But their roars would echo for generations. If you want to hear more powerful stories from the heart of the wild, don't forget to subscribe. New tales are always just around the corner.